As the clock ticks and the days of 2025 slowly slip away, you're being handed something powerful, a clean slate, a new year, a new chance. But don't just step into 2026 the same way you wandered through 2025. You deserve more. You deserve clarity, momentum, growth, and that doesn't just show up. You have to build it. This isn't a list of generic goals. This is a wake-up call, a challenge, a mission. Before 2026 knocks at your door, do these 5 things plus one bonus that will make all the difference. Let's get to work. Before you run towards something new, pause, breathe, look back not with regret, but with responsibility, because too often we're in a rush to move on, to get busy chasing the next goal, the next milestone, the next version of ourselves. But wisdom isn't found in constant forward motion. It's born in stillness, in honesty. In the brave act of reflection. Think about the start of this year. Maybe you made promises to yourself. You were motivated, clear, even excited. You said you'd wake up earlier, eat better, save more. Let go of someone who kept hurting you. Show up for your dreams like your life depended on it. But somewhere along the way, the fire dimmed, the discipline faded. The distractions got louder. And by March or April, you slipped not because you were weak, but because life is heavy. Because change is hard. Because you're human, but the real tragedy isn't in the failure. It's in pretending it didn't happen. Growth doesn't come from turning away. It comes from turning inward. So before you add more to your vision board, ask yourself, what didn't work this year? What goals fell apart? What relationships hurt more than they healed? What patterns did you keep repeating even when you knew better? Don't answer from a place of guilt. Answer from a place of clarity. Reflection isn't about punishment, it's about power. Because once you identify the pattern, you can break it. Once you face the truth, you can rewrite it. Maybe you trusted someone who never earned it. Maybe you stayed in a job that slowly drained your spirit. Maybe you kept showing up for everyone else and forgot to show up for yourself. Or maybe you simply didn't believe you were worthy of the life you kept dreaming about, and it's okay. You don't have to get it all right. But you do have to get honest. Grab a notebook. Write it out, not the polished version, the real one. Write what disappointed you, what distracted you, what derailed you, because putting it on paper is how you reclaim your power. When you write it, you own it. When you own it, you can change it. There's a study published by the Harvard Business Review that showed people who regularly reflect on their work and decisions perform 23% better than those who don't. That's not a small margin. That's the difference between stagnation and transformation. That's the edge you need, not more hustle, not more pressure, but more insight. Because reflection turns pain into fuel. It turns missteps into maps. It takes your detours and draws a straighter road forward. You don't need to reinvent your entire life overnight. But you do need to understand what held you back. Otherwise, you'll carry the same habits, the same fears, the same excuses into another year, another January, filled with dreams that die quietly by March. So let this be the year you finally stop pretending you didn't fall short. Let it be the year you look your failures in the face and say, I see you. I learned from you, but you don't define me. Reflection is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's the first step in becoming someone you actually admire. And if you skip this step, if you keep running from what didn't work, you'll keep running in circles. You don't need a perfect past. You just need an honest one. So start there, because the future doesn't belong to the person who had no failures. It belongs to the person who learned from every single one. Clutter isn't always visible. It doesn't just pile up on counters or spill out of overstuffed drawers. The heaviest clutter we carry lives inside us, quiet, constant, and often unnoticed. It's the noise in our heads when we're alone, the shame that lingers even after the apology, the regret that echoes when the world goes silent. We think the weight we carry is from the outside world, but more often it's from the parts of us we refuse to clean. We keep clothes that don't fit our lives anymore. We hold on to objects because they remind us of who we used to be. But more dangerous than physical clutter is the mental hoarding we do, the memories that poison our present. The grudges that infect our joy, the fear that keeps whispering we're not good enough. We let these things stay year after year until they build a cage. Until we start believing that our limits are real, that peace is out of reach, that freedom is a fantasy, but it's not. It's a choice. It begins with releasing what no longer serves you, not just in your home, but in your heart. Go into the corners of your life where you've been afraid to look. Clean out the messages you keep rereading from people who hurt you. Donate the parts of your identity that were built to please others. Delete the photos, the notes, the memories that you know are holding you back, and then go deeper. Ask yourself, what am I carrying that no one else can see? Maybe it's that voice in your head that tells you you'll never be enough. Maybe it's a memory from years ago that still makes your chest tighten. Maybe it's the guilt from a decision you made when you didn't know any better. Whatever it is, it's not serving your future. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean what they did was okay. It means you're choosing peace over poison. Let go for you. Forgive them, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free. You deserve to sleep without replaying the same scene. You deserve mornings that aren't weighed down by yesterday. Look at your relationships. Who around you drains your energy instead of feeding your spirit? Who do you follow, listen to, or surround yourself with that makes you feel small? You owe no one access to your peace. Remove the people who make you question your worth. Make space for the ones who remind you who you are, because until you clear the clutter mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you're just dragging the past into every new chapter. And no matter how beautiful your goals are, there won't be room for them to grow. You can't fill a packed suitcase with a new wardrobe. You can't start fresh while still clinging to what broke you, Steve Jobs once said. Deciding what not to do is as important as deciding what to do. That's not just true in business, it's true in life. Say no to chaos. Say no to bitterness. Say no to the roles you've outgrown. The life you want is trying to reach you. But there's no space to land, so clear it. Make room for light, for love, for peace. Not next year. Not someday. Now, because your future is waiting and it's lighter than the past you keep carrying, most people never rise. Because they never truly imagine. They settle not because they lack potential, but because they never dare to see what they're capable of becoming. They play it safe. They shrink their dreams until they fit inside the limits of their doubt. But you weren't built to play small. You were built to stretch, to expand, to evolve. And that starts with vision. Not a polite resolution you make on January 1st and forget by February. Not a vague idea of getting better or doing more. But a vision so real, so raw that it shakes you. One that forces you to confront everything you've been avoiding. A version of your life that makes you nervous, not because it's impossible, but because it's powerful. Because deep down, you know it's within reach. If you're willing to grow into it. Close your eyes, picture the boldest version of you. The one who's healed from what broke you. The one who shows up with confidence instead of fear. The one who earns, leads, creates, and loves without apology. Don't censor it. Don't water it down to make others comfortable. Let it scare you. Let it feel like too much. That's the point. You don't need a vision that fits who you are now. You need one that demands you become someone new. But dreaming isn't enough. Thoughts fade. Inspiration fades. If you keep your vision locked inside your mind, it becomes background noise, just another someday echoing in your head. You have to write it down, on paper, in full color. Make it loud, make it visual, put it on your wall. Set it as your phone wallpaper, carry it in your wallet if you have to. Make it something you see every day, because what you see repeatedly becomes what you believe. Dr. Gail Matthews, a psychology professor at Dominican University, conducted a study that found people are 42% more likely to achieve their goals just by writing them down. That's not wishful thinking, that's neuroscience. Your brain responds to clarity, it responds to commitment. When you write something, you give it structure, you give it life, you give it direction. So don't whisper your future. Don't Hide it in a drawer or laugh it off when people ask what you want. Scream it. Claim it. Let it guide the way you move, speak, and choose. That doesn't mean you'll have it all figured out. That doesn't mean the path will be smooth. But once you know where you're going, every step, no matter how small, becomes sacred. Action turns vision into reality. A vision without movement is just a wish. So take one step today. It doesn't matter how big. Send the email, make the call, sign up for the class, wake up an hour earlier, decline the distraction. Do anything that aligns with the person you want to become. And when fear shows up, when the doubts creep in and tell you it's too much, remember this: growth will always feel uncomfortable. That's how you know it's working. That's how you know you're on the edge of something bigger than what you've known. You don't need to wait for a perfect moment. You don't need more time, more permission, or more proof. You just need to decide that your vision is worth fighting for, because it is. You are. And the world needs the version of you that isn't afraid to dream out loud. We live in a world that glorifies drastic change. New year, new you. Change everything. Reinvent yourself overnight. But here's the truth. Most people miss lasting transformation doesn't come from overhauling your entire life in one burst of motivation. It comes from mastering one small habit and doing it consistently until it becomes a part of who you are. Don't chase 100 new habits. Choose one, just one. One change that, if done every day, would ripple through every corner of your life. Maybe it's waking up 1 hour earlier to finally make time for yourself. Maybe it's walking every evening to reconnect with your body and clear your mind. Maybe it's reading 10 pages a day to fuel your brain and remind you who you want to become. Or maybe it's journaling before bed to quiet your thoughts and reflect on what truly matters. The habit itself doesn't have to be flashy. In fact, the best habits usually aren't. They're simple, almost invisible. But what makes them powerful is repetition, day in, day out. No excuses, no waiting until Monday, no skipping when you're tired, just showing up for yourself. Over and over again. Think of a door, a giant, heavy door that seems impossible to move. Now imagine a tiny hinge barely visible holding the weight and allowing it to swing open with ease. That's what a small habit can be in your life. A single shift that unlocks something massive, something meaningful. You don't need motivation. You need a system, because motivation fades, feelings change. Life gets busy, but systems stay. A routine protects your growth when your emotions can't. It becomes your anchor when the rest of the world feels unstable. There's a powerful line you've probably heard: you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems, and it's true. Your big dreams mean nothing if you don't have the habits to carry them. You can want to write a book, but if you don't have the habit of writing daily, it stays a wish. You can want to get stronger, but without the habit of showing up at the gym, nothing changes. Desire isn't enough. Discipline builds the bridge. Look back at 2025. How many times did you start strong and then burn out? How many habits did you try to build but dropped when life got hard? Don't shame yourself for that. Learn from it. The issue wasn't your ambition. The issue was trying to change too much at once. Let this be the year you do less, but do it better. Pick your one habit. Build a plan around it. Attach it to something you already do. Make it so small you can't fail. Set reminders. Track your progress. And when you mess up, and you will, don't quit. Just begin again. That's where real strength is built, in the comeback, not the perfection. Imagine this when 2026 arrives, and others are scrambling to make resolutions. You're already standing on the foundation you've been building. Every single day, you're not trying to become someone new. You already are. That's the gift of mastering one key habit. It reshapes your identity, quietly, powerfully, permanently. Let 2026 look at you and see someone who didn't just talk about change but lived it one day at a time. In a world that never slows down, we've come to believe that being busy means we're being valuable. We measure our worth in tasks checked off, messages replied to, content created, emails sent. We convince ourselves that if we're doing more, we must be becoming more. But at some point you have to stop and ask yourself, is all this motion? leading me somewhere meaningful, or am I just spinning in place? Because there's a difference between productivity and purpose. One fills your schedule, the other fills your soul. It's easy to get lost in the hustle, to tie your identity to performance, to keep striving because everyone else is, to keep producing just so you don't fall behind. But what if you paused long enough to ask the question most people avoid? Why am I really here? Not what do I need to do today, but who am I becoming? Not how can I keep up, but what impact do I want to leave behind? Purpose doesn't always come with fanfare. Sometimes it whispers in moments of stillness. Sometimes it's born from pain. Take Josiane, a woman from Rwanda who survived unimaginable loss during the genocide. She could have turned inward. She could have chosen survival alone. But instead, she turned her suffering into something sacred. She built a school for orphans' children who, like her, had every reason to feel forgotten. Her pain didn't define her, it refined her. It gave her purpose. And in that purpose, she found the strength to keep going. That's what meaning does. It gives your life a spine when the world tries to fold you in half. It gives you a reason to keep waking up when the circumstances say stay down. Because when your work is tied to something deeper, when your actions are anchored in why, not just what, you stop needing external validation, you stop quitting when it gets hard. You start enduring not because you have to, but because it matters. That's the shift we need. Not more goals, more likes, more to-do lists, but more intention, more depth, more alignment with the things that make our hearts beat harder and our eyes light up. Because productivity can give you progress, but purpose gives you power. And this isn't about quitting your job or moving across the world. It's about infusing meaning into what you already do. Maybe you're a teacher. Maybe you're a student. Maybe you're a parent, an artist, a leader, or someone still figuring it out. It doesn't matter where you are. It matters how you show up. Are you clocking in, or are you showing up to leave something better than you found it? Ask yourself every day, what does this moment mean? What am I giving to the world? What am I building that lasts longer than I do? It doesn't have to be big, but it does have to be real. Because at the end of your life, you won't be remembered for how many emails you sent. You won't be honored for how fast you replied to a message. You'll be remembered for how deeply you loved, for how fully you lived, for the difference you made in someone's life, even if that someone was just one person. Don't let the noise of productivity drown out the quiet voice of purpose. It's in there, waiting, and once you find it, you'll never need to chase fulfillment again, because productivity fades. Purpose doesn't. Purpose fuels, always. You are not just the product of your choices, you are the product of your environment. The people you talk to, listen to, laugh with, vent to. The ones who fill your phone, your thoughts, your space. They shape the standard you live by. They whisper to your self-worth. They mirror your potential back to you, or they shrink it until you stop believing it ever existed. That's why before the next year begins, you must take inventory of the circle you keep. Because who you walk with matters. Energy is contagious, so is apathy. So is doubt. And if you're constantly surrounded by people who mock ambition, who fear growth, who live for comfort instead of challenge, then even without realizing it, you'll begin to shrink too. You'll question your drive. You'll second-guess your dreams. You'll start to settle not because you lost your vision, but because no one else around you could see it either. And that's not how your story is supposed to end. You were not made to be tolerated. You were made to be ignited. You were made to set something on fire, not with destruction, but with passion, with purpose, with light. And to do that, you need people around you who don't just tolerate your ambition, but fuel it. People who clap when you rise, not stay silent. People who call you out when you play small. People who say, I see something in you, especially on the days when you've forgotten how to see it yourself. There was a study published in the Journal of Social Science and Medicine that showed something incredibly powerful: strong social support increases your chances of long-term success by more than 50%. That's not an opinion, that's data, and it makes sense. Because when the world tries to tell you you're too much, when you hit failure, when fear creeps in late at night, the right people don't let you fall apart. They remind you who you are. They reflect your strength back to you. They don't let you quit on yourself. So look around. Who are you letting into your life? Who gets access to your heart, your time, your energy? If your inner circle isn't inspiring you, challenging you, or pushing you, then it's not a circle, it's a cage, and cages don't grow people. They suffocate them. If you already have those rare, fiery souls in your life, treasure them. Show up for them, match their energy, build together. Win together, but if you don't yet, that's okay too. Start by becoming the person you're looking for. Be the kind of friend, partner, dreamer, and believer you wish you had in your corner. Live with such passion, such honesty, that you naturally attract others who do the same. People can only meet you as deeply as they've met themselves. So go deep, grow, stretch, and trust that when you walk boldly toward your purpose, you'll cross paths with others on the same road. Let this be the year you stop trying to fit in with people who don't inspire you. Let this be the moment you decide you're no longer available for half-hearted support or one-sided friendships. You're building something beautiful, something sacred, something lasting. Surround yourself with those who see it, who water it, who guard it with their own bare hands. You become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. Make sure those 5 aren't just alive, but fully awake, awake to growth, awake to love, awake to becoming . And if they're not there yet, be the spark. Be the fire. Start the circle that makes other people believe again. Don't wait for a new year to create a new you. Time is just a tool. Intention is the engine. Reflect on what failed. Declutter your space and soul. Write the vision. Lock in one habit. Live for purpose. Find your tribe. You've been through too much to carry old weight into a new year. 22/6 is coming whether you're ready or not. The question is, will it meet the same you or a transformed one? Make the decision today. Because your future is watching.